But I really don't have any regrets. I really don't. I've lived exactly how I've wanted to. I've tried my hardest every single time. I didn't win the matches that maybe I should have always won, but I really gave it my all. So that for me is enough.
Hello everybody, welcome back to The Body Serve. I'm Jonathan.
I'm James.
This is episode 168. We are still in Cincinnati. The tournament is in full swing. There has been a carnage of seeds and big names who have fallen.
Yeah. Kiki Bertens, the defending champion, was out to Venus 2 days ago. Or yesterday. Wow, that was just yesterday.
Yeah.
She's number 5 in the world. Simona is struggling against Madison Keys at the moment. I don't know how that's going to turn out. Roger Federer, of course, losing to Andrei Rublev today in just an hour.
Yeah.
Just an amazing match by Rublev, who, after being, one of the big next-gen guys, slumped really badly and is on quite the upswing now.
Yeah, it happened in the blink of an eye. I was impressed waiting for Venus to show up while Federer was playing on the big screen in the press room. And within a minute of Venus being done, Federer was announced that he was on his way to press. There was literally like a 2-minute waiting period before he was there, and he was in a rush to be done with it.
And he had already showered. Like, how did he do that so fast?
I don't know. Maybe he just splashed his face and wet his hair.
He was like,
he had changed.
I need to leave Mason, Ohio now. Get me on a plane to a big city.
Mm-hmm. Let's start with the women's draw. The big news on the women's draw, I would say 2 players in particular. You may hear some noise in the background here. That's on center court. I assume Novak Djokovic has just won.
Against Pablo Carreño Busta.
In straight sets. But on the women's side, the 2 big names that are making the noise are Venus Williams, who is into the quarterfinals. She's had 3 big wins. Her first round beating Lauren Davis, who is always a tonic for Venus Williams, it seems. She came into this tournament having lost 3 straight first round matches, and her last good showing was in Birmingham in the middle of June, making the quarterfinals there before losing to Barty. And she's got Davis, got her in straight sets, beat Kiki Bertens in 3 sets. That first set against Kiki Bertens was some of the best tennis I've seen Venus play in 2 years. Lots of it gave me shades of 2017. And she was able to follow that up today with another big win over Donna Vekic. Donna Vekic, who took out Vika Azarenka with no trouble whatsoever on court 10. The court that we've had a lot of talk about in the last 2 days.
Donna is ranked 26 now. She will be trending higher, I think, in the next week. And she is really on the right track in her career. Like, things are going really well, and she's starting to show that promise that we saw years ago when she was 16, 17. But what is really encouraging to me about Venus is that while she is playing 3-set matches, which is to be expected, they are not these dramatic, torturous 3-set matches that she gets dragged into. Like, against Kiki, you had to expect that she is going to come back, win the second set, and make it a match for Venus, even if Kiki's not on her best day, right? But there wasn't all this drama.
That is not true. Because Venus was up 5-2, and Kiki held for 5-3, broke Venus for 5-4, held for 5-5, and then eventually Venus got it done in a tiebreak. Where the lack of drama, maybe you're thinking, is the fact that Venus sped away to a 6-2 lead in that tiebreak and eventually won it 7-4.
Yes. Is doing really well on the returns against these big servers.
The ground game,
Bertens and Vekic.
Period, the ground game is looking very good. She told us in press that something that she's been working on is not overhitting. Her words is that she doesn't want to be going hog wild on court. And we've seen
I love that word was just on the tip of her tongue.
Mm-hmm. Venus was many things in press this week so far.
She has been all things.
And we'll play a few snippets of that potentially in this episode. We'll see how we are able to splice things in when it's all said and done.
Venus, I always say, is the most unpredictable player to me on either tour. I never run out of surprises, basically. Today, Venus called her coach on court for an on-court coaching session, which she never ever does. And I think the only reason she did is because she wanted to order a coffee from him.
Yeah. And so the coach is there and he's giving her his spiel. And then when he's done, she kind of puts her hand to her mouth and she says, "No, but really, I need that coffee ASAP."
As soon as possible. He gave her a lot of good advice, actually. And she was just kind of sprawled out like, coffee, yeah. As soon as like now.
The other player who's made big waves this week, and you'll hear from her because she was one of the first guests on the show ever, Svetlana Kuznetsova. She's got her visa, and she is in the United States of America. And she's in the quarterfinals, and we just spoke to her for about 7 or 8 minutes.
Guys, like we're trying to be impartial here because we're here as credentialed press, but it is so exciting to talk to Svetlana, and she's amazing. We'll talk later about what she's been doing this week specifically.
But as far as the tennis goes, the wins that she's had, she's taken out
Sevastova in 2.5 hours on Monday night. Then Diana Yastremska, who is 18, 19 years old.
19 years old.
Hits the ball maybe harder than anyone out there.
It's close. And you could tell that Svetlana, playing her for the first time, in that first set, she didn't really know what to make of that power. She was being pushed back behind the baseline. On court 10, it's a smaller court, so she was hitting the ball very close to the back wall of the court. But by the end of the second set and into the third, Svetlana found a way to be dictating points. And in that third set, she hit more winners than she had all match. And she was really striking the ball cleanly. Man, like, what a return for her. From not getting the visa in time, and you'll hear her talk about that, to getting to Toronto, winning 2 matches before losing easily to Halep, and then coming here again and getting these 3 good wins. Beating Sloane Stephens today 6-1, 6-2.
And, right, that was by far her easiest match so far. And again, she's playing in the heat in the afternoon. And, I mean, Sloane was she's just not all there.
No, she was everywhere but there today.
Yeah.
As for Sloane, she was impressed last night. Wildly engaging with how she spoke about her opponent last night, Yulia Putintseva. Do you want to go there just now? Or do you want to finish up talking about Kuznetsova?
Yeah, because we'll talk about Sveta again later.
Okay.
But Sloane played a tough match against Putintseva last night on center court in the night session, having lost the first set and then managing to grit it out in 3. Putintseva, actually, I mean, by her standards, wasn't totally out of pocket yesterday.
Well, she did disappear for 15 minutes after the second set. She went to change her kit, and Sloane is just standing up, walking around, trying not to look or feel agitated. And people are like, where did she go?
Literally, is she coming back?
It was legit question.
She did come back. Lost in the third set. And then a few questions that you asked Sloane as a follow-up to someone else's question elicited, quite the response.
Well, she did not need any prompting, because the very first question of the press conference, she was asked something about what was it like on court, playing this match tonight, blah, blah, blah. And she goes, well, I did what I had to do, especially against that opponent. Not that type of opponent, or an opponent who has a lot of power, who has a lot of, mystery, against that opponent. It was very pointed. And then she needed no further invitation to go even more after Putintseva. Eventually, she capped it by saying, I'll let you do the honor.
If it's not one scam, it's another.
And that is, we've never had a more gifted title for an episode. It was just laid right into her laps.
And the thing is, Sloane doesn't seem to grasp her mean queen honorarium, or her honorific.
Yeah, I asked her about the block thing, and she's like, what? I think I know what you're talking about. And I was like, yeah, it's actually a big thing on social media. And she's
it's
like,
famous.
well, is it? Well, I guess I'll take your word for
I
it.
know she's been asked about that before. I don't know why she answered you like that. But I don't know that she grasps just how memeable she is.
Mm-hmm.
But, it is rare to have players go in on other players in press. They're usually giving you pretty politically correct responses about their colleagues because, for the most part, even if they dislike each other, it's like, well, I'm not going to call her out in public because it's not even that serious.
Mm-hmm.
But she was clearly vexed about what happened.
I will say this about Sloane. She struggled on court today, didn't look good, but she seems to be in a place where she's not about to deal with not saying her mind. She's not about the bullshit anymore when it comes to answering questions. Like, she cussed it a little bit in All Access Hour.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, I'm not going to say that. She's like, well, fuck it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the first time, but you could tell, like, she was very half-assedly trying to hold herself back.
What else? So I'll tell you briefly what's going on the women's side. So in the quarterfinals, we have Ash Barty. She's going to play Maria Sakkari. First up tomorrow. Wow. Like,
wow.
What a moment. What a moment.
So
Maria
that match,
Sakkari against Aryna Sabalenka on court 10. Court 10 was the place to be today.
Yeah, so that was the first match on court 10, which was actually not outrageous scheduling. Like, it wasn't a terrible assignment. Aryna is number 9 in the world. Neither of them are, like, huge superstars. But it's a cool, intimate, sunken court to watch them on.
It was a perfect spot for that match.
Yeah.
I think pretty much the Naomi Osaka scheduling on court 10, that was the only real shocker.
Yes, and, well, we'll get into that. But coupled with two unseeded men on center court to open, Schwartzman and Gasquet, which was absolutely perplexing. That was kind of insulting to Naomi, who is, again, world number 1. She's seeded 2 here. She's a superstar. She holds 2 major titles currently. And to put her on the 4th largest court that wasn't even televised for most of it, that's wild.
Didn't have Hawkeye.
It is disrespectful.
Anyway, back to the match.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting tangential.
Yeah. So
it was. I tweeted about it and I said, this really felt like it was an audition for a reboot of Xena Warrior Princess. Like, you have these 2 women who look like gladiators on the tennis court. They're dressed identically, save for Maria wearing 2 wristbands and Sabalenka wearing a headband.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they had the exact same kit, same shoes, same racket. The exact same racket with the same cool design, and, as someone pointed out to us, the same dampener on their racket.
Those Nike leopard print shoes are so cool.
Oh, you want a pair?
A ton of the players are wearing those. But those two really bring a lot out of each other, Sakkari and Sabalenka. They play such a different game, but they're both so fierce on court. They're both so intense. And I was talking with another reporter today about how it's not even fierce at each other. It's like the intensity is high, but there's so much goodwill from both players that it's just cool to see. Like,
it's parallel fierce.
Yeah.
Sabalenka took a really hard tumble at the end of the 3rd set, and Sakkari was almost over there to, like, help her up off the ground in a flash.
Right.
It was bad enough that the umpire had to get down out of the chair to check on her.
And she got treatment on the ankle. I mean, she continued playing, and it looked like, well, hell, she could still win this. So Maria should really, make sure she's got this covered.
And when it was all said and done, they had just the most lovely hug at net. So that was a brilliant way to start the day. We've got that first matchup tomorrow, Barty and Sakkari. Pliskova is going to play Kuznetsova in the other quarterfinal in the top half. One of those 4 women is going to make the final. One of Barty, Sakkari, Pliskova, or Kuznetsova will be in the final. As for Kuznetsova, right now with her win today, she's up to number 111 provisionally. If she wins tomorrow, she'll be back up to number 82. She was coming from like 170 something.
Yeah.
Before Toronto.
Yeah, and now she's got a U.S. Open wildcard, and looking at her form, you have to think, well, she could really hurt some people in this draw.
And for somebody like Pliskova, who still, although she moves better than you would expect, moves nowhere near as well as Kuznetsova.
Right.
I mean, it's wild to think just how fit Sveta looks right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we've taken quite a few pictures of her, and it really puts into full relief just how flexible she is.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's wild that she's still able to do this and look that good at 33 after being away for so long as well. It's not easy.
Mm-hmm.
On the bottom half of the draw, Venus Williams is going to play the winner of Madison Keys or Simona Halep. On her way to the card to record, Madison was up 3-1 in the third set.
Okay.
So we'll see. Personally, I would like to see a Venus-Madison encounter. I've had enough of Venus losing to Simona Halep recently.
Yeah, I think that's a better matchup for Venus.
And it's more fun. We're in American soil. It'll be two hometown women, excuse me.
Well, not hometown, but you know.
As in, like, home
Yeah.
country.
Mm.
And Venus will get her wish. Because she was not pleased in press today that her last two matches were squarely in the sweltering heat. She got the 1 o'clock slot on both Tuesday and Thursday. And, you know, you normally have to pry things out of Venus. She volunteered this
Yeah.
today, saying that she was not about that 1 o'clock life, and that she hoped at least tomorrow she'd get third on center court.
Tonight we have Svetlana Kenin playing in the second match on center.
And then the winner of that will play Naomi Osaka. We got the fourth meeting of Hsieh and Osaka today, again on court 10.
Yeah.
Went 3 sets, despite Naomi having 15 aces and 0 double faults. She had such good rhythm on her serve, was still broken 4 times, and the two just love... I don't know if they love it, but they bring something real good out of each other.
I don't think they love it. Naomi actually said, you know, she was really frustrated in their match in Stuttgart, and you could tell, everybody could tell, that playing Hsieh is very frustrating because she interrupts her rhythm so much. She mentioned in press that the one thing that is predictable is returning Hsieh's serve. That's like one inroad that Naomi can make. But she said she was really concentrating on taking it all in stride, just being in a little more good humor.
I really think Hsieh enjoys it.
Oh yes, I do.
She
Naomi
loves it.
does not, but
No.
I think Sue does enjoy it.
But the work product is something that is typically very enjoyable for viewers. And for those who are able to get in and out of court 10 today to watch it, they were treated to something that they may not have been able to experience otherwise.
Yeah. So that was a silver lining, to be able to see the world number one up close on such an intimate court, playing someone as dynamic and exciting as Hsieh, who a lot of people probably have never heard of.
Yeah.
And Roger Federer's match was going on at the same time, so it was actually, for a lot of Naomi's match, easy to get in.
Yeah. And then, of course, Federer got blitzed.
Right, which was bad
effect,
news, so people
because-
rushed
yeah.
to Naomi.
So some people went to go see Sloane, but then she got blitzed. And then that third set of Naomi and Hsieh was a hot ticket.
Yeah.
So that bottom half, Venus Williams versus Madison Keys, and then either of Svetlana Kenin versus Osaka. So I think the women's draw is still in good shape, despite all the losses.
Yeah. It's the men's draw that is in a little bit of disarray right now. Novak Djokovic, of course, is still surviving. He beat Carreño Busta today. Roger Federer lost to Rublev. Djokovic will face Luca Puig, and we saw Luca's coach, Amelie Mauresmo, heading into center court this afternoon to watch Djokovic, to scout.
Yeah, she was on her way into center court, and then somebody stopped her and was like, "Can I please get your autograph?" And it wasn't even for him, it was for the woman that he was with. And so she comes over with this big ball, but then she doesn't have a pen.
You think the girl could find a marker?
Right? And she just, hold on. And then she goes a ways away, is, trying to sift through this big bag to find a pen. And eventually, like a minute later, after Amelie is just waiting patiently, she gets the pen to sign the thing.
Amelie is very sweet, because I would have been like, girl, I have to go in. Goodbye.
Still left in the men's draw. Well, the top half is where there's still... Well, you can't even say that. It's really only Djokovic left.
Yeah.
That's Djokovic and Medvedev.
So Medvedev has won so many matches over the past 3 weeks. He blitzed Jan-Lennard Struff today, and he will face Andrei Rublev. So they're both kind of on a roll. I am wondering when Medvedev is going to show signs of exhaustion. I mean, he did against Rafa in Montreal, but he's back. I guess he's young.
So Djokovic gets the winner of Djokovic gets Puig, and then Rublev plays Medvedev. So if you were to go on form, we should expect Djokovic, Medvedev in the semifinal from the top half. On the bottom half, everybody is gone, essentially, leaving Roberto Bautista Agut as the most likely person out of that half.
Well, the top seed out of that half. We talked about this yesterday in our Body Serve diary, that about the upsets, these next gen upsets, aside from Rublev, of course. But Tsitsipas lost to Jan-Lennard Struff in 3 sets. Alexander Zverev, you may be surprised to find out, has never won a match in Cincinnati.
No.
He hit 20 double faults yesterday against Kecmanovic.
If you recall, a couple of years ago, it was Francis Tiafoe's coming out party when he beat Zverev on center court.
Zverev, it didn't sting as much because Zverev was on a roll, having won Montreal and Washington, D.C., and coming into Cincinnati as the hottest player on tour, but who could have used a little break before the U.S. Open,
he was
right?
clearly tired that time.
Yeah, so this is a different Zverev, I think, and somebody who has been a little bit passed over by Steph Tsitsipas as the flavor of the week, and obviously still incredibly talented, but is in a kind of a dry stretch at the moment.
He's also going through some real issues with his game.
Right, it's not just off-court stuff.
No.
It is tennis stuff too.
The 20 double faults, alarming. It's not just this match. He's been having a lot of trouble on serve recently.
Yeah.
To finish off this men's bottom half, Bautista Agut plays Gasquet in the quarterfinals, and then Nishioka, remember his name, he beat Nishikori in Nishikori's first match in the second round.
Yeah, and then today he beat Alex de Minaur.
So he's in the quarterfinals, his first Masters 1000 quarterfinals, having a run and enjoying every moment of it. He's going to play David Goffin in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, so I'm looking for an RBA final.
That's a smart money, I think.
He is just so ridiculously steady and reliable, and really just ground down Francis Tiafoe last night. Francis managed to snatch that second set, got his clothes changed, came back and lost really fast in the third set.
As far as the most entertaining final left, if you're a Djokovic fan, you may not agree with this, but I think the best case scenario here is a Djokovic-Bautista Agut final.
Yes, it's just the matchup.
Other stuff that happened since our last episode.
Well, we referenced the court assignments. Do we want to go over that again?
No, I think it's been done.
Yeah.
Venus, some of her quotable moments in press.
So she's on the WTA Players Council, which you almost never hear about. I couldn't name you the other members of the Players Council. She was asked about the ATP Council and,
As
basically
a segue to
what's going on the WTA side.
It was a segue into talking about the WTA.
And she was not having it. She's like, I don't know anything about the ATP. And then they were like, no, but we're asking you about WTA. She's like, oh, I'm up for re-election.
No, but she was like, good luck to them.
I do not know what's going on in the ATP. So, wishing them luck.
She also said, with respect to that same question about leading into the good luck to them bit, she's like, I have 2 businesses, I am a professional tennis player, I have this, I have that. Essentially, anybody got time for that.
Right. And she doesn't have a campaign platform, in case you were wondering. This isn't like election. The Reese Witherspoon Classic. She says players vote for her because they respect her, and if they decide they don't believe in her as their representative, then they won't vote for her. It's that simple. Things are honestly often that simple for Venus.
Do you want to talk about the Nick Kyrgios stuff?
Yeah, let's do this really quickly because it's been getting too much airtime, in my opinion. A funny thing is, my mom and my aunt were at the match last night. Nick's match against Khachanov, which was the controversial one. And they were really disgusted by his behavior and didn't get why people found it charismatic. They just found it like, wow, he's behaving like a toddler, and I don't get it. Like, a lot of people in the stadium are kind of rooting him on and are really enjoying the petulance, but they were like, I don't understand why he was mad. And myself watching the match, I don't get it. You know, he had a complete and utter collapse, a mental collapse, for nothing. He just invents things to be angry about. And so it turned out, well, okay, he got a time violation, so this is what's going to basically justify my meltdown. Because the meltdown was cooking already. You know, but I'm going to fixate on this one time violation and just completely lose it. So, I don't care. Like, fine him, do whatever, suspend him, I don't care what you do. Stop using him for money.
Mm-hmm.
He generates money, the ATP wants the money. And that's it. Like, it is literally that simple.
It's not just them, it's TV.
Right.
And people lump in press. It's like, oh, the press needs to stop doing this. Let's be clear here. There is no Kyrgios without TV.
Yeah. I mean, sure, some of the press salivate over this, but
Yeah.
the mandate of, like, broadcasting versus journalists is quite different.
The fact that you were able to get coverage of him going into the tunnel and smashing the rackets,
Yeah.
they went looking for something.
Right.
And so he's fined $113,000. And we have been of the opinion that we're just going to not give him the time of day anymore when it comes to the antics and the theatrics. Right?
Yes, because bad behavior from men or boys is, it's like so interesting to people. And it's something that can always be justified. People love this shit.
No, because the more we celebrate it, the more the cycle of fucker is able to be perpetuated.
Yeah.
The more we can keep that wheel spinning. Because there's nothing in this life more rampant than male privilege.
Literally.
It drives so many other ills
Yeah.
in this world. And I'm also not about the moralizing part of it. When we take that, if we want to say, well, you know, we're anti this whole boys will be boys, you know, excusing men's bad behavior stuff, absolutely. But then we go and parlay that into this whole business of what's good or bad for the sport.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
No.
I will say that spitting in someone's general direction is vile.
It's
behavior.
trash.
That's the one thing.
Trash.
That's really the only thing about last night that actually got me mad. You know.
It was trash behavior.
Yeah.
One of the things that cut through the noise, whenever Kyrgios is in one of his fits, right? There's a whole tornado of fuckery with the discourse. One of the things that cut through all that last night was a lot of folks saying, well, damn, it's actually unfair to the opponent.
Yeah, that's what is often lost. And Karen Khachanov handled it with utmost grace. He barely even seemed bothered by the whole spectacle. But it is only that. It is only spectacle. I was thinking today, like, there are literally dozens of people on court and around the court who are at work. They're trying to do their job. That is all they're doing. And this one person isn't letting them do it.
And Fergus Murphy as well. Like, he knew he was going to a Nick Kyrgios match to umpire it. But you can't bargain for that at your place of work. It's madness.
Yeah. I did have to laugh, and I think we should move on after this. When I saw the list of fines, I think there were 9 or 10 different offenses, 5 unsportsmanlike conducts, and I'm thinking, like, that is like 2.5 defaults. I have to wonder how the default didn't happen.
Again, it puts into relief just how much leeway and discretion umpires have at their disposal.
And we're not going to go there, but I know what you all are thinking, and you are not wrong.
No, but that's why I brought it up.
Yeah.
Because the whole point, one of the missions of 2019 is not to bring up New York.
I thought Hot Girl Summer was the mission of 2019.
You are being obstinate.
That too, right?
Oh my God. But the point is, that noise you just heard was Madison Keys beating Simona Halep 7-5 in the third set. So tomorrow night, 7 p.m., book it. Venus Williams versus Madison Keys. and you're gonna hear them roar like Katy Perry on the grandstand right now. But yeah, my point is, like, we see time and time again this year, in big matches, in small matches, every week somebody is given the benefit of discretion.
Yeah.
Just last week in Toronto in qualifying, tell this story really quickly.
I think I already told the story.
On the last episode?
Yeah, didn't I?
I don't know.
Anyway, Sasha Vickery, had a few lapses, and she bounced her racket on the court a few times, and it did escalate to smashing a ball against the backstop, and she kind of scared a few of the line umpires. And this was against Boskova, by the way, who went on to have that incredible run. And the umpire off mic said, "Sasha, listen, you got to stop this, or I'm going to have to give you a code." And it was it's that simple sometimes, right? What Sasha did probably deserved a code, honestly. She could have hit one of the workers, but the umpire, using discretion, said, "Listen, this has got to stop." And then that was that. It didn't happen again.
Okay, so let's finish up. We've got that Svetlana Kuznetsova interview that we're going to end the episode with, but we've also got some audio from Kamau Murray, and it pertains to Sloane Stephens and his current partnership with Monica Puig. I asked him very intentionally, without bringing up Sloane Stephens, and he just brought her up anyway. I said, "How did you and Monica come to be?" And then he said, "Well, I was waiting on a call from Sloane, didn't get it, lack of communication," and he just went on and on and on about it, and I let him talk.
Last year you were here as part of the first ever coaching roundtable, and at that time you were with Sloane. Now you're with Monica. For a lot of fans, it's difficult to keep track of the different coaching changes. Can you maybe let folks know how your partnership with Monica came about?
So Sloane and I were on a break, and we just hadn't done a good job of communicating when the end of that break was. And so,
Care to say more?
then miscommunication on both sides, blah, blah, blah. And opportunities come, and then you take opportunities. But I think, everyone's learned, that communication is key, right? And no one should be in between the player and the coach. And, everyone will be more clear moving forward.
Specifically, how the opportunity with Monica came about, though.
Oh, I just got a phone call from my mother saying, "Hey, we see you're not here. Are you available?" It's like, as of now, I'm available. So it wasn't like anything other than that. It was like, "Hey, if you want to come to Chicago for a trial as a Polar Vortex, but feel free to come. See how it works." And from there, it was a good week. She bought some boots and a winter coat.
Brave the cold.
Brave the cold, and we just sort of decided to keep going.
Are things good with you and Sloane?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, in a long relationship, you'll have ups and downs, but Sloane's and I's relationship is permanent. It's beyond tennis. It's beyond, player coach. It's, a genuine care for one another. So no, Sloane and I are great. We're great. Me and her mom are great. Everybody, we're all great. The agent, it's not like bad blood. It's just miscommunication.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, she and I had a great time in D.C., giving each other jabs, you know what I mean? So it's all good. It's always been all good. Never negative, never emotional. I mean, I think as it relates to emotion, we are very clear that it doesn't help anything. So we're in a good place.
And so the other bit of information from Kamau, you want to set that up?
Yeah. On this show, you have been going hard about the depth of the WTA bench and saying that anyone can win on any given day, and it's because of the incredible talent. And in many ways, I think that's true. But the way that you framed the question, Kamau actually kind of objected to it. Yeah. So it was interesting to hear his perspective and asserting that, well, maybe those players don't have the right coaching, they don't have the right attitude, and
also that they're not willing to make themselves vulnerable enough to win consistently. That was interesting to me.
Yeah.
I still don't agree with him, but he's the professional. I'm just an idiot with a platform.
Yeah. So before we tell you everything, here's Kamau.
Maybe you can speak to it from when you first started working with Sloane to now. You said that it's part of the job of the coaches to motivate the players to be able to like get past those 1 wins and turn them into 2. But some would argue that the landscape of women's tennis now is so drastically different in terms of the parity and the depth, and just how difficult it is to win 2 times in a month or even twice in a year. Because like the players 50 to 100, you never know who's coming.
Yeah, but I think that's also the problem, right? I don't think that it's the players 50 to 100 are like doing anything special. I think it's more the players that are 1 to 25 are just sort of perhaps not having the right conversation, not being honest the day of a match about how they're feeling. And I think that, this is the WTA, right? This is the women's tour. And so being an adult is about having proactive conversations. If I have an issue with my 22 staff members, then I got to walk in and handle the issue. We just can't walk around mad at each other, right? And so I think that all of them have these feelings and these thoughts, and I think the people who will develop some consistency are the ones that learn to be proactive in terms of communicating and to allow themselves to be very vulnerable, right? And I think that there are multiple matches that I can remember over the past 5 years, with Taylor and Sloane, where the only reason we had success because the player got a little bit vulnerable the day of. Woke up and said, hey, I'm feeling this. You need to come talk to me, right? Or, whatever it is, right? Because sometimes, as a coach, you don't want to poke the bear. You sort of are always on the fence, like, something of them seems right? And do I poke the bear or do I hope that they work it out? You know what I mean? And I'm here to tell you they don't work it out. And so you always poke the bear, right? I mean, that's just the lesson that I've learned is to just poke the bear. Maybe not punch the bear, but you just give a little gentle poke, right? And I think, honestly, if everyone's having feelings, the winning and the attention, and, I think you want the attention, then when you get it, like, ooh, I don't think I want the attention, right? I don't think I like people talking about me. And so I think that's where, players may win and then purposely disappear.
We'll probably have some more coaching snippets on our Cincy Wrap episode. But for now, we hope you enjoyed that bit from Kamau. We had him with audio on the show last year. It's the second year that the WTA has organized this coaches roundtable, which we found quite illuminating.
So now on to Svetlana.
The main event.
Svetlana Kuznetsova, as you may know, it was the 2004 U.S. Open champion, 2009 Roland Garros champion. She went pro in 2000 when I was a freshman in high school. Mm-hmm. She's been a pro for nearly 20 years. I think
You're the same age.
She's 34 years old now, right?
Yes.
And her past few years have been wild, right? She had an injury, she's had surgery, she had well documented all these visa issues this year, couldn't go to the US, just got her visas for Canada and the US barely a week ago, played in Toronto, is here now. She said that injury, that big injury, actually came at a good time for her because she kind of needed a break.
Mm-hmm. It was like 2 weeks ago. She said that she got the visa on a Tuesday, traveled on the Wednesday to Canada, and played qualifying or got to whatever. The tournament was starting that weekend.
Yeah. Last year she won Washington, D.C. She was the winner there, beating Donna Vekic, which really slipped my mind because she hasn't played that much over the past year. But she is such a fan favorite. People love her Instagram. You'll hear
her talk about her Instagram. You'll hear her talk about Dolce, her dog, her beloved dog. Unfortunately, there would have been more in-depth stuff about the visa that we had planned, but the one-on-one came after her press conference, and some folks had already asked her about it.
She talked a lot about it. So you'll see those quotes, and we will eventually share them as well, but we don't want to step on other reporters' toes right now. But there's a lot of information. She has really been frank about the whole process and wasn't afraid of angering the United States by publicizing what she was going through, which I thought was very interesting because she said she was warned, listen, don't go public and say you don't have a visa, because they could just say, well, we're not going to give you one at all.
I mean, by friends. I mean, like co-workers. It wasn't like...
But I would have been scared.
It wasn't like somebody knocked on her door and said, listen, Svetlana.
No, but if she... Well, that's a good point. Sorry, I didn't want to make it seem like, she said her application was under review for so long. That's what they were telling her. I mean, I would have been scared to say anything if my application was still under review.
Yeah.
So here's Svetlana in her own words. You know, a lot of fans are really excited to have you back. You're a favorite on Twitter, which you probably know. These past few matches have been really grueling in the heat, except for Sloane's today was a little bit shorter. How are you feeling?
Thank God, at least I have
Right?
shorter match. All my friends are like, finally, I don't bite my nails in your match. So
How are you feeling physically, just being back
I
here?
feel great. Of course, after first matches, my body is really sore, but also as I've experienced that already, I know in 1, 2, 3 matches I'll be alright. So I feel good.
Is that one of maybe the silver linings of having had this time off, that you're able to train and train and train so that when you did come back, you didn't have to worry about
No,
that
I have
necessarily?
not been able to train a lot as I wish because I was injured, first of all, and second of that you never can train enough to be ready when you play. When you play matches, it's different conditioning.
Mm-hmm. How was it facing someone like Yastremska, who is so young, who hits so powerfully? I know you've played so many power hitters over your career, but what was that feeling, just coming back on court?
No, I mean, it was great. You know, I knew I had to defend a lot to bring as many balls. It's nothing new. I've played lots of hitters, so it was just hanging there and playing my best.
With the visa thing, I know you talked about it in press a little bit just now. What were your thoughts when you saw that tweet for the first time from the ambassador from the U.S. Embassy in Russia?
Well, I could understand that probably my post on Instagram made an effect, probably, or whatever happened. I couldn't know, and probably I'm getting visa soon, but I am not believing until I got it.
Were you packed and ready to go, or just had to scramble last minute?
I mean, I pack in 1 hour, you know, after
that's
so
it?
many years. So yes, and on Tuesday I found out that I got both passports because I was waiting for Canadian visa as well. Got both passports and ready to go.
Do you know why they didn't contact you directly? Like they did so through
As she said, she said they were trying, but I had as it was a mess with my post. I had million missed calls, and I'm not taking numbers which I don't recognize, because many different calls are going through. So of course, and they probably call me in my old number because new number I was taking every call. So it was weird. I cannot say they called. I cannot say they don't. I don't know.
Right. So have you ever had? You haven't had these problems before, but do you know other players who have had visa problems recently, or?
Not really.
No.
You said this tournament, and I guess in Toronto as well, that you're trying to enjoy these moments now, the uncertainty of what you've been through, you know, the wins, you're going to enjoy them as much as you can. Do you think at your stage of your career, if you had been playing nonstop without injuries the last year, that you'd still have the same outlook?
Look, I believe that my injury came in the moments where I needed the most to rest. Sometimes you're so professional, you have to be hard worker, but you're not thinking that sometimes you need a break. It's impossible to live this life 20 years fully. And of course you need breaks. And how it would be, could be, maybe, I don't know.
Do you have kind of like a tennis bucket list, like any accomplishments that you really, really want to achieve before you're done?
I never had.
Yeah.
I never had
Just
one. So
take it week by
whatever
week.
it comes, because I don't want to be disappointed if I didn't do something.
You said in Toronto as well that there was a lot of stuff that you were going through personally, professionally, coach stuff, visa stuff, that it was all a little bit overwhelming. How are you feeling now that you're back to playing tennis?
I feel great because sometimes even I was back on the court, I was not there fully. Now I'm fully happy, and it's what makes me play better for sure.
Can you tell us a little bit about the kit that you're wearing? It's getting a lot of positive reviews on Twitter that we've been seeing. And does the black bother you in the sun at all?
Yes, I played today in green. But
You also switched
black
after
was-
the second set yesterday.
Yes, because it was so hot, and black one was bringing me better luck. So I thought I wear black, but then during the match I said I'm like suiciding right now, playing on this heat in the black. That's it.
It's your own design, your own
I used to
clothing
have,
line?
it's Chinese brand. I used to have a contract with them. So far as I'm just coming back, and in the middle of the season, it's really difficult to find a brand sponsor. So I'm not having a sponsor at the moment. And this was last year's kit, and I didn't play in it. So now I thought I tie it up a little bit because it was slightly large to me, and now it's perfect.
You're happy with it?
Yeah, I'm really happy, but I gotta switch it soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any updates on your beautiful dog, Dolce?
He's with my mom in St. Petersburg. He's great.
He's doing okay?
He has sore ass. My mom just texted him out, what should I do? How do I put this and that? It's nice. I'm really happy because he's with my mom. I know no one else is gonna take better care of him than my mom. So
Is he normally with your mom when you're away?
sometimes he was another family of my friends, but they got another dog which they don't go along very well. And now probably yes, I'll see.
He's able to travel to some tournaments, but not all, right?
He's able, like I have all the documents. He's emotional support animal, but he's so afraid. So he hates flying, and I cannot do it to him.
Last question. Your social media, your Instagram in particular,
Yeah.
how much time do you spend curating it, keeping it at such a high level?
I had people taking care of it. I was taking care of it, but now I just wanted to focus on the game because it's not worth my time. My time I rather spend on focusing on my game and my things. What has value for me. Instagram, okay, it's nice pictures. I can send good messages to the people, set a good example for kids. That's it. I'm not getting much from it, so I can get much from my tennis.
Are you aware though that you're known for your Instagram?
Yes.
That it's like one of the must watches on the WTA tour?
Oh, that's cool. That's nice. I'm trying hard though. I'm trying to do these pictures, the photo shoots. It takes time though.
Yeah. Do you enjoy it though? Getting all
Not
dressed
really.
up? Not at all?
No. Once a while, yes, but once when I was taking care of my PR in Moscow, it's so annoying, and plus, it's no impact. Like in tennis, you work and then you win, and here, what you win, you're just getting more famous. So what? I'm not up to more.
You're past that in your stage of your life?
I have enough. I'm just into private companies, having good time with my friends, and working my ass off on the tennis court. So probably.
Thanks for taking the time. Good luck.
Thank you,
and take care,
guys.
Have a
Svetlana.
great
Talk
week.
to you
Thanks a lot.
soon.
Take care.
Thanks to Svetlana for coming on the show. I hope you liked hearing from her and hearing about Dolce and his sore ass. that was actually more than I expected to hear
I
about
know,
Dolce.
right?
What a sweet dog, though. Oh my God. Anyway, we don't want to overstay our welcome. Thank you for listening. Thanks for keeping up with us while we're in Cincinnati on Instagram. I feel like we've turned up the volume on the stories.
Yes.
I'm trying to get better at this stuff.
At The Body Serve on Instagram, at The Body Serve on Twitter. Our Twitter is where we've been tweeting from mainly, almost exclusively this week.
Yes, and it's mostly me.
Not necessarily.
Well, the really funny stuff and the really mean stuff is all me on the Body Surf Twitter.
Okay, sure. Just sit there and do your show.
I'm sure you're sitting there like, well, none of it's been funny. So
What is that thing from Titus?
keep going, girl. Do your
Do
show.
your show. My name's Jonathan. You can find me on Twitter at tennis_John.
I'm James. I'm at ElliotJMR.
2 L's, 2 T's. Thanks for listening. Till next time.
I do not know what's going on in the ATP. So, wishing them luck.